Hey y'all, I'm back again with another Pokemon Challenge video. Pokemon Red with only Magnemite was somehow even worse than Voltorb, and I never thought that would be possible. So this time, I wanted to see if I could beat Pokemon Red using only one Bellsprout. As usual, the rules are I can only use one Bellsprout in battle, and no items in battle. By the way, if you like this kind of content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and check out more of the videos on my channel. Bellsprout is a very strange Pokemon. Its attack and special are pretty okay, but the rest is subpar. By both level up and TM, it only really gets grass and normal moves, but at least it gets access to a great boosting move in Growth, which boosts special by one stage. That will be great for stacking badge boost for our otherwise mediocre stats. Let's do this! Off at Professor Oak's lab, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Bulbasaur with Bellsprout so that our rival will pick Charmander. Charizard is the hardest final form starter for us to handle, since it double resists our grass moves and also knows the stun lock move Fire Spin. I nickname our Bellsprout Sprouty here, because I need to get this challenge done as soon as possible so I can leave for the weekend to go pick up a brand new puppy. How exciting! Now back to the matter at hand. Bellsprout only starts off with Growth and Vine Whip, but even so, that's more than enough to handle the rival Bubs' Charmander. Vine Whip will be our best attack until we beat Erica at the Celadon City Gym and get Mega Drain, which is 5 base power stronger. Such devastating power! Eventually we'll be able to learn Razor Leaf, which always critical hits, but I won't be using it at all during the run. Let me know in the comments why you think that is. I skipped the second battle with our rival Bubs because Pidgey and Charmander are just too difficult right now, and instead go to take on Brock's gym, which is incredibly easy. We win in 3 turns with Vine Whip and level up 2 levels at once to learn Wrap, one of the most degenerate moves in the entire game. After passing through Mount Moon, we take on our rival Bubs in Cerulean City once again. You can immediately see the value of Wrap during this battle, since we're able to prevent Pidgeotto from getting to do much of anything at all. Once Abra comes out, it's all over, since it can't do anything to damage us at all, and we can set up all of our growths for special boosts as well as badge boosts to attack. With that, Vine Whip is even a 2-hit KO on the Charmander, which resists because it's a fire type. We could have also won this with attack boosted Wrap, but Wrap has a tendency to miss because it's only 85% accurate. After the rival Bubs battle, it's time to take on Misty. Bellsprout once again shows the power of Growth and Sleep Powder by putting Staryu to sleep and raising our special stat. She even helps us by going for X-Defense that do literally nothing since Vine Whip is special. I also find it surprising how seldom we actually miss Sleep Powder, hitting almost all the ones that count during important battles. Anyways, we easily take down her Pokemon to earn ourselves the Cascade Badge. Aboard the SS Sand, we take on Bubs once again, but at this point we have replaced Wrap with Acid, a weak poison type move that also lowers defense. Wrap might be good for stun locking, but it's not nearly as strong as Acid, and also the accuracy is horrible. Plus the fact that Acid lowers the opponent's defense makes it that much stronger. It's also important to note as well that Poison type is physical in this game, so Growth boosting special doesn't help it, but the badge boost to attack from using Growth do help to boost its power. Having a physical attack is great for Pokemon like Kadabra, and in general, special attackers that seem to always have frail defense in this game. It would also be otherwise too hard to take out Charmeleon with Vine Whip. Now it's time to take on Lieutenant Surge, and this battle is a great example of why Acid is better than Wrap at this point. We use Growth to badge boost our attack, and you can see Acid one-shot both Voltorb and Pikachu. It would have done the same to Raichu, but we leveled up after the Pikachu, which of course removed our badge boosts. Even so, Bellsprout resists electric moves, so this one is an easy battle no matter what. Lieutenant Surge overall in these runs just seems to suck a royal bag of eggs. Hard-boiled ones at that. Pshaw, mon frere. We take on the rival Bubs once again at the Pokemon Tower in Lavender Town. The important thing to note about this battle is that we hit level 33 and Bellsprout wants to learn Razor Leaf, but I don't teach it to that suckling plant. Did you already guess in the comments as to why? Well, the reason is because Razor Leaf will critical hit more often than not. And in Pokemon Red, critical hits ignore all stat modifications, including our badge boost. This means that Growth won't make Razor Leaf any stronger whenever it critical hits, and we're hoping to use Growth for the rest of the game. Not only does Growth boost our special stat, but because it only does it by one stage, we can use it 6 times per battle to give significant badge boosts to our stats, which would otherwise be so much weaker than our opponent's Pokemon by comparison. So there you go. Erica's gym battle is actually totally free, but it's an interesting opportunity to talk about Gen 1 AI mechanics. Because her smart AI wants to use super effective moves, she checks Bellsprout's primary type grass and uses poison powder because poison is super effective against grass. She doesn't check the secondary type because if she did, she'd realize that poison is actually neutral on Bellsprout. So she might as well have a team of Abra because poison powder doesn't affect Bellsprout and we're allowed to do whatever we want. Giovanni in the Rocket Game Corner was a total sweep, so now it's time to take on Koga at the Fuchsia City Gym. His poison Pokemon resist our grass and poison type attacks, which are already weak enough as it is. Erica gave us the TM for Mega Drain though, which is slightly stronger than Vine Whip, but it also heals half of the damage we deal, which is really helpful to withstand Koga's strong sludge attacks. It takes a very long time because, like I've mentioned before, our attacks are very weak, even with all of the boost to special from growth. At one point I even taught Takedown to Bellsprout and tried using that, thinking it would do more damage than Acid, which is resisted, but we lost so much HP from recoil that in the end, Mega Drain just ended up being the better option. Even if it did less damage, it was able to heal us up enough that we could clutch out a victory during a war of poison type attrition. Now I'm off at the Sylph Company to take on the rival Bubs once again. This battle took way too many tries. Pidgeot slams us with Wing Attack and crits more often than I'd like. Gyarados knows Dragon Rage, which always does 40 damage, and we don't have that much HP. Alakazam does super effective Psychic type damage and crits incredibly often. Charizard is a friggin' Fire type and also crits super often. The only reason this battle is even possible is because of Mega Drain healing us and Sleep Powder giving us a chance to boost. Otherwise, we would have to level up a lot in order to win. I had to try this battle dozens of times, and it was the first real roadblock in the challenge. I even tried this one with Double Edge, but like Takedown before it, the recoil was just too much, and we barely won as it were. Bubs was an absolute nightmare, but Giovanni has nothing on my Bellsprout. His lead Nidorino can't do much, and we easily boost up with growth. Kangaskhan and Nidoqueen go down easy, and Rhyhorn doesn't stand a chance. The Silphco president gives us the Master Ball Giovanni tried so hard to steal, and we just throw it away because I can't be bothered to actually use it. After clearing out the Sylph Company building for items, I head over to Saffron City Gym to take on Sabrina. This battle is impossible without Sleep Powder. Her Pokemon special are too high and we're too weak to Psychic type moves. This entire battle comes down to whether or not Alakazam goes for an actual attack, and whether or not that attack lands a critical hit. On top of that, Leech Life is double super effective, so without badge boost to our defense, Bellsprout would actually get super wrecked by Venomoth, a sentence I never thought I'd say. Blaine's up next, and he's actually somewhat of a challenge because he's got Fire-type Pokemon. Our experience is such that we level up right after his first Growlithe, which is a problem for badge boosts. Acid doesn't do much damage, but Sleep Powder is super clutch and lets us chunk Blaine's Pokemon for days. Rapidash does lock us into Fire Spin, but thankfully only the badge boosts get reset when we level up. Our special boosts from growth don't go anywhere. Arcanine is pretty scary when it goes for Fire Blast, but this little pup goes for Ember instead, so we pick up a relatively easy win. It also helps when the trainer that should be probably the hardest for us to beat is notoriously one of the dumbest in terms of AI, retroactively using super potions, and doing things that just in general don't make a ton of sense. He could just go for Fire Blast and knock us out, but instead he goes for things like Roar and Growl and God knows what else. Giovanni battle, baby! Time for the Earth Badge battle. It should be no surprise to anyone watching that this was super easy. We can't one-hit KO Nidoqueen or Nidoking, but we're just way too strong with growth, and the little bit of damage that his Pokemon actually get to do immediately gets healed by Mega Drain. The one piece of strategy here is to badge boost speed enough to be faster than the Dugtrio, which could otherwise critical hit us for a knockout with Dig, which is problematic. But that almost never happens here. The rival fight afterwards with Bubs was significantly harder. This battle is hard for the same reasons as in the Sylph Company, except now Bubs' Pokemon are even stronger. On top of that, Bellsprout levels up twice during this battle, so it's hard to manage getting badge boost appropriately. Plus, there's no way to get past Pidgeot without boosting with growth. I considered teaching Bellsprout Swords Dance here to boost our attack to make Acid much stronger. In the end, I decided that the healing factor Mega Drain provided with growth was much more valuable than Swords Dance, so I just grind it out until I can finally get an opportunity to get to the Charizard. I can't 1 KO Execute, but thankfully it goes for Poison Powder for the same reason that Erica wasn't able to do anything to us during that gym battle. Alakazam is also a huge problem because it's really fast, has a high critical hit ratio, and is an incredibly strong Psychic type Pokemon, and we're a Poison type, so put 2 and 2 together and you realize it's a bad time. We can't outspeed it, and it hits with Psychic, which can also lower our special stat. All recipes for disaster. I had to try this a billion times, but by the time I finally got to the Charizard for the first time, I actually ended up winning the battle. It was super tough, but with the power of Sprout, we made it through, and now we're at the Indigo Plateau. So here are our stats going into the Elite Four. Everything is kinda meh, and our moveset is the same as it's been for most of the run. In the words of the great Sam Elliott, "It ain't perfect, but it works." First up is the Elite Four Lorelie. All of our Pokemon besides Jinx are weak to grass, so this one should be easy, right? Well, right away you can see just how weak Bellsprout is by comparison, so our type advantage isn't everything. Dugong's Aurora Beam does huge damage, and we'd get totally clobbered if not for Sleep Powder. We're able to max out our special stat with Growth, and then heal back all of the damage from Aurora Beam using Mega Drain. The biggest issue with this battle is that we'll always level up before the Lapras, so we lose our badge boost. But even so, the special stat increases we get from Growth stick around, so we can easily win as long as we don't get critical hit or frozen by Blizzard, which has a 30% chance to do so. It didn't happen in this run, but it's happened plenty of times before, enough for me to know better. Up next is Bruno, and you already know how this one is going to go. Bruno leads off with Onix and does basically nothing, so our Bellsprout is easily able to set up all of the growths that we need and sweep his entire team. On top of that, Bellsprout is a poison type, so it resists fighting moves like Machamp's Submission, or Hitmonlee's High Jump Kick, which we never get to see, because beating Bruno is always an easy task, and this time is no different. We actually cleanly sweep him so hard that we don't even really need to heal up for the next battle with Agatha. With that being said, I imagine that we're going to have a much harder time with Agatha, considering her Pokemon all resist grass and poison, and normal moves won't work on her ghost types at all. And those are the only 3 types of moves that Bellsprout can even learn. Like always, we need to set up our growths, but it's really hard to do that here because of Golbat. It has the move Haze, which will not only remove our stat boost, but our badge boost as well, including the ones that we're kinda supposed to get. So Bellsprout has to try to set up while putting all of Agatha's Pokemon to sleep, and she randomly switches her Pokemon in and out, so we end up wasting a couple of sleep powders on Pokemon that we've already put to sleep. Even with the maximized special stat and various badge boosts to attack, you can see just how little our grass and poison attacks are doing. This battle is a royal pain and takes so long. Interestingly though, Arbok actually does get a few chances to attack us because it wakes up, but instead of doing that, Agatha retroactively uses a Super Potion a couple times instead. Our Mega Drain does slightly more than what the Super Potion heals, so we're actually able to knock it out without using more sleep powders. I really don't want to have to do this battle again, so I'm glad that I actually got it on the first try. And in hindsight, maybe not healing before the battle wasn't such a good idea, but I was feeling on top of the world after beating Bruno and Lorelie with relative ease, considering just how difficult the Magnemite run was before this. I also have zero qualms or guilt about putting all of Agatha's Pokemon to sleep, because that's what she does to us normally, on top of confusion, and on top of paralysis, on top of just being the absolute worst in general. After that mega drain of a battle, it's time to take on the last Elite Four member, Lance. Spoiler alert, this battle is pretty easy. The only challenges here are Gyarados and Aerodactyl. Gyarados has Hyper Beam, which could knock us out with a crit, and Aerodactyl has Wing Attack, which will also knock out Bellsprout with a critical hit. However, Lance's Dragon Pokemon won't actually attack us. Because Lance has Smart AI, he'll want to use super effective moves on Bellsprout, so the Dragonairs will spam the Psychic type move Agility, and Dragonite will spam the Psychic move Barrier. Since trainers in this game have infinite PP, they will literally never damage Bellsprout. Like I said, it's a pretty easy win, barring some bad luck on critical hits between the only two Pokemon of his that can actually do damage. This will be a general theme for all runs that involve a Pokemon with a poison type in Gen 1. This was the same thing that happened with Hitmonlee during that challenge run because it was a fighting type. Well, last up is the champion, our rival Bubs. It's finally time to pull out all of the stops, so I give Bellsprout some rare candies and I teach our plant boy Double Edge. I normally don't like to use recoil moves in these challenges, like I explained in the last video with Magnemite, but here it is absolutely necessary to have enough firepower to deal with Pidgeot, Alakazam, and Charizard. Plus, Mega Drain lets us heal back the recoil damage from Double Edge, so as long as we play it smart, we should be alright. Then again, I'm an idiot, so we'll probably lose. Well, the battle begins, and Pidgeot comes out and immediately threatens us with super effective flying type attacks. It does half of our damage with Wing Attack. We get all of our growths right away, heal back with Mega Drain, and finish things off with a Double Edge. See? I told you that we needed more firepower, and Double Edge is perfect here. Alakazam goes down in one hit with Double Edge, and Rhydon is kind enough to come out and heal us back up to full health. Gyarados goes down quickly, and Exeggutor doesn't do much besides spam Hypnosis and Barrage. The problem, of course, is Charizard, especially when we level up right beforehand and lose our badge boost to speed. Charizard outspeeds us now and can stun lock us with Fire Spin, which happens several times, but here it just misses a Fire Blast and Bellsprout is able to wriggle its way to victory using Double Edge of all things. See, I told you it'd come in handy. And with that, the challenge is over. After the painstaking endeavor that was the Magnemite run, this one was surprisingly easy, even if it did take a lot longer than expected, since almost every battle required using Sleep Powder and setting up growths. That being said, I still had a lot of fun using Bellsprout to strike fear into the hearts of our enemies. Now they know exactly for whom the Bellsprout tolls. If that awful pun didn't make you click away, I'd like to thank you for making it to the end of this video. These videos are a lot of fun, but also a lot of work, so I really do appreciate it. There's a playlist on my channel where you can find the rest of my Pokemon Challenge videos if you want to check those out as well. Let me know in the comments what Pokemon you want to see. Next up is beating Pokemon Red using only one Poliwag. Make sure you subscribe and enable notifications so you know right away when that video is uploaded. I've got to go get a puppy, so we're Sprouted here. And until next time,